Hey everyone, my name is Clyde. You're watching Play-by-Play on Clyde Plays, and today we're taking out the Tier 10 cruiser, Moskva. Now, Moskva is a Russian cruiser, and as such, it is big, it is tanky, it has 12-click radar, it is a very durable ship, it's got big guns, and there was a time when this ship was the king of the Soviet ships, the Soviet tech tree in World of Warships. Remember when people used to take the Moskva into clan battles and we would make jokes like, oh my gosh, these guys have extra battleships and stuff like that? Because it had 65,000 hit points. Can I say that enough times? 65,000 hit points. Compare that to the approximately 40,000 that you have in like a Zhao, for example. And it is just so much more ship. But lately, other Soviet ships have been the apple of the eyes of the various players of World of Warships. We've had a whole line of Russian paper battleships that never existed, but are pretty amazing components and a great addition to World of Warships. We've also got things like Stalingrad, which you can get for steel, Petro, which you can get in the tech tree. You've also got the Nevsky, if you're looking for a light cruiser. And the Moskva has become what they call a special ship. It's not quite a premium, but it's not a premium. It seems to act like a premium. And so nobody really plays the Moskva anymore. Lately, there was a mission where if you went and knocked an anchor off of each of your Tier 10 ships, you would get a super container. So I decided to take my Moskva out again, and I remembered just why this ship is so great. So on this map, we're going to dive right into it. We spawned in, and fairly early, I find myself on the western side of the map. I start steaming forward. The Moskva is not slow, but not fast. It's got decent range with its guns, and I see this Smolensk coming up. I've also got this great smoke screen from my destroyer there who's in the Alpha Cap. And this smoke screen is allowing me, as the Moskva, to advance undetected, which is pretty amazing. I don't remember the number right off the top of my head, but I think the Moskva has something like a 14-click detectability range. So I'm able to steam up, and I'm using this island so the Smolensk can't see me, and I'm using the smoke of my destroyer buddy over here in the Fletcher to stay out of sight as I advance. And my hope is that I can just pop up here, and before the Smolensk has a chance to torp me or something, I can blap him with armor-piercing shells and destroy him at close range, especially if I get some support from my Fletcher. Now, as I'm approaching, I see some more smoke. Look at that. There's more smoke further away. That's bad guy smoke. Bad guy smoke means a destroyer. It means maybe a British cruiser or something. As soon as I'm detected, I realize that it's probably a destroyer. Nope, I'm wrong. It's the Albemarle, a British heavy, which means there's maybe still a destroyer in there because the Albemarle, I believe, does not have smoke. So I fire off my mains here. And look at that hit. The Moskva's reload time is about 9 seconds, or it's under 10. And so considering it's got such large guns, it fires off relatively rapidly. Now, the Albemarle is a British heavy cruiser, and for whatever reason, those things have a citadel the size of London. And so I blap him, and with a little help from my buddy in the Missouri, we drop that ship in short order. I've got 36,000 damage on the clock. I'm by this island. I'm now detected by acoustics. The Smolensk, knows what I'm up to. It also knows that Fletcher's out there and it's worried. And so this enemy Montana is coming around. I see he's turning to the north. So he's actually doing a corner so that he can avoid getting shot by me or my allies. I don't know why he did that because we're not that strong on this west side of the map right now. But I'm glad he did because it allowed me to advance a little bit on this Smolensk. My Fletcher has come around with me. I think maybe my presence made him feel a little bit more bold. And he was hoping to perhaps get torpedoes off on the Smoley. Smoley smokes up, absolutely what he should do, although I'm close enough right now that I'm going to have assured acquisition on him pretty quickly. I did use my radar earlier, and Smolensk knew that, so he knew he was safe, at least for now. I hit the rocks with some of my shells. I have 2 overpens. He fires torpedoes, not at me. That wasn't a bad torp shot at me. It was a bad torp shot at my friend in the destroyer, who, of course, responds with his own volley of torpedoes, and we catch him with 1 or 2 there. Then I come around the corner trying to get a fire. My gun's fired at him. Somebody else picks him up from the other side. It looks like it's that Missouri again, cleaning up the mess that I left behind. at this point, I only got a little bit of damage on the Smolensk with those overpens, 37,000 damage on the clock right now. And I'm looking around for a target, right? We talked in the last video about making sure you've always got a target in mind. Right now, my best target is that Montana. I don't really want to go 1v1 with a Montana, and I don't think that Fletcher's going to open up his guns or anything. So I start turning back southward. I do keep my eye on that Montana. I'm swiveling the camera around a lot here pretty wildly because I'm trying to keep my eyes open. I've got a lot of green ships to the east of me, so I don't think I'm going to get surprised by a destroyer or a particularly stealthy cruiser at this point, but I do believe that I want to be aware of where my next opportunity to do some damage to help out my team is. Montana gives me a pretty decent broadside, so I start throwing AP shells down there. Little salvo here. I'm up to 40k. Got another one. The thing about the Moskva is its rate of fire is so high compared to other cruisers that are like it. You know, you look at the Alaska, you look at the Kronstadt, you look at the Stalingrad or the Petropavlovsk. This thing reloads pretty quickly compared to all of those. Its guns aren't quite as powerful as some of those ships. I wouldn't want to advertise them as just as powerful because they're not. But the fact that you can shoot every 9 seconds with pretty punishing AP and at most targets, you know, pretty accurate at most ranges, I should say. It's a very, very valuable ship. And when you're switching to HEs, you know, that rate of fire is going to help increase the opportunities you have to get a fire on a ship as well. I spotted an Ibuki over there, threw some shells at him. He kind of went out of sight. I think I got a shatter or something. I can't remember. I just missed it when it popped up. I see an enemy Stalingrad over there. He's using an island to great effect to stay safe, so I can't do anything about the Stalingrad. Make sure my throttle stays down, and I'm going to go on the south side of the islands that separate Alpha from Bravo and see what we can see over there. I've got friends on the other side who are already spotting. You can see I've got a destroyer over there. I've got a cruiser over there. So at this point, I'm playing catch up, trying to get over to the other side of the map. If you look at the mini map, it doesn't look that great for Team Green. The red team has more caps than we do, but our positioning is better. If you look at that line that we find ourselves in, it's a nice rectangle. Any ships that step forward against that kind of diagonal line of green team ships are going to get wrecked. And so that is exactly what I'm hoping I'll be able to participate in as I come around this corner. I see a few torpedoes, not fired at me. They were fired at my destroyer over there, and I'm able to avoid those, obviously, because they're nowhere near me. Yeah, fire up my surveillance radar here, and I'm taking a shot at that Ibuki. I was hoping to be able to get there, but somebody's shots beat me to it. In this case, it's an Anchorage. New ship in the game. Pretty excited about the Anchorage. I'm sure we'll be seeing a lot more from that platform as we go forward. I suspect that we'll have it on a play-by-play someday as well. I see an Ostergotland up there. We've got a Stalingrad that's behind that island. He's still in that same place, but I'm more concerned about knocking out this Ostergotland. There's also a Benson. I'm worried about these DDs. The enemy team only has 2 destroyers left. One of the great reasons for knocking out the enemy DDs is it really improves our ability to have better vision than they do if we have small, low-detect ships on our team and they don't. If we dump their DDs, then our destroyers can pretty much spot at will without any fear of being spotted by another low-detect destroyer or ship. They have to still worry about radar, things like that, but if you can skunk these 2 DDs and put them on the bottom of the ocean, then our DDs can walk around effectively with impunity. So this is one of the reasons why I'm very focused on those 2 ships, and both of them are very low. Ostergotland, I was just chasing with some shells, and then here's the Benson. He's hiding behind some islands. I had some AP loaded in the tubes, and I continued to fire that at the destroyers. A lot of people would say, hey, you should switch to HE, and maybe you should, but you know, a 1,000 hit point overpen on a destroyer with AP is still 1,000 hit points on a ship that only has 15 or 20k, so it's still a great go. That's Stalingrad. I don't know if he got beached or not, but he sat there in a place where I was able to hit him consistently and continuously. And so I got a couple of citadels on him, or maybe 1 citadel on him just a second ago. And then he was stuck there on the rocks, or chose to stay there on the rocks, and I just kept heating him up. I did take a pretty stout hit from him right there, maybe one of his allies. And boom, there he is. Final citadel. Drop the Stalingrad. Benson's still alive over there, but he's low, and my guys are working on him. So I'm not too worried about him coming up. We do have a cluster of ships in that Charlie cap on the far east who could be coming around to threaten me. And so what I want to do right now is I'm going to flip this U-turn and tuck in behind that island so I can protect my hit points. I'd rather just work on the ships that are to the north of me and not have to fight the ships to the north and to the east of me. So I'm using that island, or I'm intending to use that island as a way to stay safe and not have to fight 2 fights. I talked about the Moskva and how tanky it is and how durable it is at the beginning of this match. That is true, but it's not true from all angles. It's really great bow on. It's not so great, with a broadside. So I want to use that island to basically add an island's worth of armor to my starboard side there. So I swing around here and I'm eyeballing this Pommern who's over here behind an island, feeling pretty confident about my ability to deal with.
And there you had it. It was as if a tornado had blown through our house.
What would you do if I...
When I take a huge hit, which I believe came from the enemy Des Moines over there. The Des Moines is, one of the first tier 10 ships in the game. The U.S. and Japanese lines were the 2 lines that launched this game, and the Des Moines has been in the game for that long. Still a very formidable opponent, and it thumped me right there for 20,000 plus damage, some huge amount. So not only now am I using this island as cover, I'm going to use it for cover for a while. My whole repair just came back, and I wanted to make sure I had an opportunity to use that. My engine was knocked out as well. And there's my old friend, the Montana. Now, we were fighting over on the far west side of this map, and he's back again and still offering up a broadside. So I grab a 6,000 hit point salvo against him there. This island comes down, it gets very low. So the Moskva, and this is a common trait to a lot of Russian ships, has a very high muzzle velocity for its shells. They travel very, very fast. And as a result, the salvos go pretty much flat. A lot of people joke about Russian laser beam guns because, you don't have this high arcing shells like you do with the American line, or even some of the, I guess American is really, that's the country I would accuse of having the loftiest shells, right? So the U.S. destroyers, U.S. cruisers have these big lobbing shells. Right now, you can see that I'm swinging my camera to the back. I got hit pretty hard by that Des Moines, and I know he's back there. He's only 8 or 9 kilometers away from my ship right now. And so I'm using this low terrain in front of me as cover while I throw shells at the Massachusetts and the Montana. But I'm looking over my shoulder at that Des Moines. Luckily, my team dumps him, so now I don't have to worry about the Des Moines anymore. I'm looking at that Massachusetts. He's a great target for me because for a moment he was pretty broadside, although his angle is getting a little bit more beneficial for him at this moment. Enemy team has 4 ships. We have 7 ships. So I'm feeling fairly confident about our ability to win this match. And of course, I've been dishing up the damage, so I'm feeling pretty strong. My whole repair has come through. I used it. I stayed behind the island, so I protected my hit points while still continuing to deliver damage. I didn't have to give up doing damage to protect my hit points, and that's a really positive exchange that I can make. So Massachusetts is rolling around. I get the sense that this guy was, deciding that the game was kind of over, because he really stepped out into open water, broadside to me and a bunch of other ships, and then he leaned in on those guys over there. I feel like he wasn't playing his best, or maybe wasn't playing to win anymore, but tried to scoop up some damage there before the game ended. And our folks over there, of course, the Missouri, having a great game. That's, I think, his 3rd kill, as long as we just have the one Missouri, and I think that is true. So I see this Montana. He's close-ish, and he's broadside. So that's a great target for a Moskva. Again, every 9-point-something seconds, I can throw out, 6 AP shells out the front of my ship, and I just ignore the back turret in the Moskva. When I need to be bow on and exercising the tankiness of this ship's armor, you just don't use the back turret. Don't be tempted. If you swing your tail out, Montana's going to find, a loose scale on your armor, and he's going to light you up. And so I just didn't give him the opportunity. I maintain my bow on posture and only use my front 6 barrels. Shimakaze over here looking to get a little Montana damage himself. So he dives in over here, pops his smoke. One great thing about the Moskva is, again, I've been talking about it this whole match, how quickly those guns reload. So I see the Hipper over here, but my Montana's behind a mountain. No problem. I've got time to take a shot at the Hipper. Maybe I'll get a couple thousand damage, reload my guns, and before I see the Montana again, I'm going to be ready to shoot. Even though I'm in the smoke, I'm spotted because the Moskva is the size of Moscow itself. But I smash the Montana with a big Citadel, 11,000 damage. Torpedoes rushing in from the Shimakaze. I am racing him, trying to take that damage because, you know, I've been fighting this guy since the beginning of the game. I get 1, 2. This is my 3rd salvo, and all of it gets there ahead of those torpedoes. Although the Shima gets the kill, and I think that's great. It was teamwork, and we win on points at that point. I hope you enjoyed this video today. I hope you found it entertaining and educational. I hope you learned something. If you really liked what you saw, please hit the like button and subscribe so you'll never miss another play-by-play. And if you can't wait until the next video comes out, why don't you check out the other videos that already are posted on my channel. There's a bunch of great content just like this one. Thank you so much for watching. Please take care of each other, sail with friends, and we'll see you out there on the high seas, captains.